summer. And we engage in volunteer monitoring, and we have to submit annual monitoring reports to the California Coastal Commission. We were the first nonprofit to open an offer to dedicate coastal access trail at Mendocino Bayview. And this is one of those places that stays in people's minds. It's an unusual coastal access easement because it's actually 4 acres in size. People get married here. We're not allowed to charge. We can, because it's public coastal access, we can require a security deposit. We ask the bride and groom to donate to the land trust, but we cannot charge. And this is the view, one of these quintessential Mendocino Bay views. So I'm going to ask you a couple of times to envision special places that have been part of your lives, that you either can go to on a regular basis because they're still open to the public, or things that have been lost to public access. I know we all went places as kids. I worked for a couple of governors who had boyhood swimming holes or beaches that they pushed me very hard to acquire. We all have those special places, and so we serve that purpose for 12 weddings a year, and people come back. Likewise, coastal access is available at Candace Cove. It's right in here in the hamlet of Casper. And we're undertaking abalone diver outreach there, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Very quiet. The underlying landowner wants it that way, and we try to work with people to keep it that way. But again, it's one of the special places for Casper residents in that neighborhood. Same thing with Belinda Point. There had been traditional coastal access at Belinda Point south of Fort Bragg, and Supervisor Smith was with us at our opening in October of 2004. It was a pretty joyous event, and it's an absolutely gorgeous trail. We do monitoring and maintenance there. We also are preparing to open up new coastal access trails, and these are part of the list. Navarro Blufflands Trail near Navarro Point, and I'll show you a map of that. We're working with a landowner, a family of landowners down in Elk. This has been permitted. A coastal development permit exists. A Kibasilla Vista Trail, almost 2 miles of trail south of Westport. Hare Creek Beach is this. We have a purchase and sale agreement to buy this beach, and it's hooked into a coastal access easement that will be part of the California Coastal Trail. A viewpoint in Noyo Harbor so that people can actually see a working harbor from a safe piece of public access, and a little river area trail. These are the steps that we go through in opening a public access easement, an offer to dedicate easement. We write a management plan. When we accept that, we have to accept the management plan, but it's a fairly vanilla plan. And as we work with the landowner and then with the neighbors, we develop a more comprehensive management plan. We undertake the needed technical studies, botanical, archaeological, geotechnical, wetlands. We determine if mitigation is required. We work with the underlying landowner to design that site plan for the trail. And then we obtain coastal development permit, and if necessary, a CDF permit. And we're having an interesting time working with Caltrans in there right away. Trying to get the coastal trail off of the highway and onto safe territory immediately adjacent is something that we're persisting in doing. And our staff, Tamara Jones, will have a key meeting with 4 layers deep of Caltrans next week. It's an interesting process. 2 things on this slide that I'll ask you to focus on. It takes sometimes 10 to 20 years to identify an organization to accept an offer to dedicate coastal access easement, and the price tag is around $10,000, but if it's a vertical, which means out to the coast, the costs can range from $8,000 to $50,000, and that's in many cases what people want us to do. And the opportunities for collaboration between government and non-governmental agencies, you certainly could reduce our permit fees. The permit fees are a cost of doing business, but they're extraordinarily high. We want to work with the permitting agencies, and we do with Caltrans, with County Planning and Building, with state parks, with the Bureau of Land Management. We're trying to have a positive precedent when we plan for an open up public trail. And this has been evidenced by the fact that we have volunteers in our neighborhoods where the trails are, who monitor, who pick up trash, and we educate landowners about their roles and responsibilities having the public access trail as a neighbor. These are all the organizations and their holdings, and it's pretty impressive because some of these organizations are fairly small. We're the largest, and we have a beautiful preserve, 55-acre preserve and scenic trail at Navarro Point. Casper Beach and Creek and Upland is ours. We're in the process of conveying that to state parks. It'll be a segment of the coastal trail. As I said, coastal access. And we have the Coastal Land Trust, which owns and manages Seaside Beach,